Hello, friends and fellow stampers. My name is Karen, and welcome to Karen's Stamp Pad. Today, I wanted to jump on and go show you three really stunning cards, I think, just using the Christmas to Remember stamp set and the Christmas season. Now, these two actually come with dies, and you can get them in a suite, the whole thing, or you could just get the stamp sets. Um, so first, let me just say that if you uh, enjoy these cards and want to order anything, please go to karenbrigader.stampinup.net and use this host code. That's October's host code. And without further ado, I will show you these cards. Now, the first thing I'm doing, I've pre-cut some of it. I will give you dimensions. Now I've done these with very vanilla cardstock. You get an 8.5 by 11 piece and cut it at 5.5, scored at 4.25, and you've got your card. Now, excuse me. Okay, I'm just going to use my bone folder to burnish it so it lays flat. I have a piece of cherry cobbler, and this is cut down by 1/4 of an inch. So this is 4 inches by 5.25. And then I'm going to layer it with a smaller piece, and this is going to be 3 3 3/4 by 5. So the first thing we're going to do is just take our top piece, pull in some grid paper so I don't make a mess. And I've already put my stamps on blocks, but we are going to start. By opening these. And hopefully I do not make a mess. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to use Soft Succulent. It's one of my favorite colors. It's in the new color palette that Stampin' Up! Has. And I'm just going to show you this simple card. Now, I have cased this card, and for those of you who don't know what it is, Stampin' Up! Has the word case, and it is copy and share everything. So if you see from another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator or hobby demonstrator some projects that you like, they encourage you to copy and share. That's the biggest compliment a demonstrator can get. All right, so that's my Soft Succulent. I am going to take Evening Evergreen and put some of these bells in there. Look how easy it's coming together. Okay, now I'm going to take some cherry cobbler and put some berries. Okay, now, yeah, put one more up here. There we go. Now I just have these little red dots. They give you for background. Okay, so there we go. Now that's come together pretty easy. That's how easy stamping is. So the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my sentiment, which is the only one that I'm using from the second stamp set, the Christmas to Remember. But it comes with a lot of Christmas greetings, so it's worth having in your collection. And I am going to, do I want it at the top or the bottom? I think I have more room at the top. But I'm going to put it at the bottom. All right, there we have it. So this is it. We're going to take and put together our cards. So I just have some liquid glue. It's quick and easy. You don't need much, and remember, don't go too close to the sides because it smushes out. And just center it so there's a nice even border on the outside. Okay. See? Don't do as I say, don't do as I do. All right. There we go. Now it does kind of look a little bare, so I have some holiday rhinestones that I am going to use as my tool. I'm just going to put a couple of them right here. And see how easy that came together, and you've got a beautiful Christmas card. Now what I would do that I'm not going to do right now is, or maybe I will. I'll just show you. It always is nice to have a finished look. And I'm stamping off the page, so there we go. And some cherry cobbler. There we go. So the inside, and then you've got a place to write your message, or you could take another. With this stamp set, you know, love and joy come to you, and may it last the whole year through. You know, to spruce it up. But that's just your simple stamping. There's nothing to it. And look how stunning that card is. Okay, so now we're going to take exactly the same card. We're going to do exactly the same thing, but we're going to step it up a notch. So this is for stampers who have a few more tools in their collection. Let me just clean my blocks here. And you know, you don't need much just to do that part that we just did. And you'll see that the next one is pretty much the same, but we've just stepped it up a little bit. Okay, so let's pull in another piece of Very Vanilla, and let's do exactly the same thing. Start with our soft succulent. You know, and every card is gonna look different. Evening Evergreen. There. Okay. Okay. Fill this in. There we go. Okay, now what I'm going to do is stamp the greeting first. And this time I'm going to put it at the top because I really don't have any room at the bottom. Even though I want it to be the same, it's not going to. As I said, don't step. I pushed too hard and I have a little spot at the top. And my greeting is crooked. But, so what you could do is, you can always flip it over and do it on the other side. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to. I'm just going to show you. Now I'm going to have to. I've got ink all over my hands and I just smudged my card. Nice. Good thing I have extras. That was the back side, but I've messed that up too. All right, try it again. Inky fingers. Okay. Darker. All right. Almost there. Okay. There we go. Now our sentiment again, and this time I won't push so hard. You don't want to catch the edge of it. Let me just pull this down, line this up. That's a nice thing about grid paper. And that looks better. Okay, and no fingerprints. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, now this is called, we call it Big Boss. It's a stamp and emboss machine. And I'm going to remove these. And I'm going to bring in an embossing folder. So let me show you what that is. This is the Tasteful Textiles 3D embossing folder, and it is, let's see if you can see it. All right, you open it up, and we are going to take our greeting card, and we're going to put that in, place that down, and I'll run it through. Oops, I got the extra plate in there, sorry. Run it through. Nice and easy. Remove this. And you're going to see, hopefully you can see on the camera once we pull it out, it has that texture on it, which gives it, you know, some added dimension. Okay, put that away. And there we have our second card. And all we've done is the embossing. Okay, bit. Put a couple of rhinestones on it. And we've stepped it up just a bit. Oh, actually, what I'm going to do is what I have forgotten to do before we put it together is I'm going to show you a little technique. I'll put this on here, and I'm going to take my Evening Evergreen. You can see I have some ink in there. I've already been playing. And I am going to use what is called an aqua painter. So it is a water brush. So it's got the water in it. You squeeze it and it comes out. So what we're going to do is just pick up some of the Evening Evergreen, and we're going to do a splatter effect. Now, be careful when you splatter. I splattered some cards that were sitting nearby. So, there you go. Let's see if you can see that. Don't mind my thumbs. Okay, so now all we've done to it is we've done the splatter effect, and we have embossed with the embossing folder. And so we're going to put our cards together. And our sequins, or our rhinestones, I should say, and so we'll put them down here since the greeting is up there this time. You could have another one if you wanted. Depends on how much bling you want, but there we have it. So that stepped up just a notch. So the difference between the two. All right, now let's step it up one more notch. Now the other thing that I suggest is, and I will do it for this one because the first one I showed you stamped the inside. Let's pull this in. Keep my hands out. All right. Go back in some grid paper. And let's do this all over again. You're getting the hang of it now, right? I have my Simply Chamois here. It just cleans everything off. I'm going to take this one first. Okay. Spend a little more time on that after. Now, so what do you think so far? I think these, I thought when I saw these cards, they were just stunning. So, and I talked about casing it. So I cased this from Angela Meyer. Now, whether she came up with the design or she cased it from somebody else, I'm not sure, but she watermarked it. I'm assuming this was her design. I am going to, again, do the splatter before I emboss it this time. Okay. Now, I'll leave these here. I don't usually leave these open because that's how accidents happen. The card usually ends up in there. And then we have ink all over where it's not supposed to be. So what I'm going to do with this one is, for the sentiment, I am going to wipe this off first. What did I do with my Simply Chamois? Who knows? On the floor. Okay. So this time I'm going to take Versamark ink. It is a clear ink, and it is meant for embossing. Before I do that, let me just show you a little trick. Now, we don't sell this anymore. This is called an embossing buddy, and it has like cornstarch in it, and it keeps the static off. So what everybody's using now is dryer sheets. So use dryer sheets, save it, and just do that, and it takes the static off the cardstock before you emboss. So I'm going to show you. This is called heat embossing. So we take that, and you're not going to be able to see it on camera, but I can see where it says Season's Greetings. I am going to bring in my tray. Coffee filters, I could do it on the piece of paper and fold it up and then just put everything back in. You see, again, I pushed too hard and I got the edge of the stamp on there, so we will just take that off. Okay, set that aside. Okay, and I'm going to bring in my heat tool. So Stampin' Up! Sells this. It's a heat gun. It has a couple of settings. You can tell, to a little higher, and once it heats up a bit, you're going to see the powder melting. Sorry about the noise. But I just want to give you an idea. Do you see the difference? Okay, that's how you tell it's done. Okay, so now that I've shown you that, what I'm going to do is I am going to, after it is fully done, I am going to die cut it. It's just okay, so a die cut is basically the same thing. You use your machine again. This one is just, it's a bit smaller. The dies will go through this one. And it has instructions and it tells you what plates to use for what. So if you're using your embossing folder for one, you know, or your die cuts, it has different plates for that. So we put that on. We run it through. And you have your die cut piece. Okay, so let's bring our card back in. And I'm going to emboss this piece with the embossing folder. Pardon me for a second. I won't bring it back on screen. You've seen it once. Okay. Quick and easy, so we've done that. Now I'm going to start putting the card together. So you can see as you do it, you get faster and faster. And you can step up your game, make it a little fancier. Okay, so what I'm going to do with this one now is I'm going to bring in, these are called Stampin' Dimensionals. These are the ones I want. And what they do is they pop up things. So it's a foam adhesive, and it just pops up. So it pops up your greeting or whatever you're doing with it, and gives it more of a 3D look. So I'm going to put my greeting here. Let's show you the dimensionals. I use this is a take your pick tool. Has a putty end. There is, if you're die cutting something and it has little pieces in it, there's a brush attachment that you can roll in it and pull all of those out. Mine kind of so well used it started to fall apart the other day, so I need to order another one. Great little inventions. So difficult. All right, I'm going to pick the backings off these with my take your pick tool. In the garbage where they end up all the way up the stairs. Okay, and then the last thing I'm going to do before I put this on is I'm going to bring in a piece of gold thin cord, I guess. I'll wrap it a couple of times. Sorry, fumble fingers. All right. So I'm going to take that and I am going to, you can use glue dots. I've got this runner tape. It's called Stampin' Seal. So I just put some on my thumb. And then I take where I want it together. And put some on. Let's get a little more. And this is how I get glue all over too. There we go. So it's holding it together. Just going to cut this little end off so it doesn't stick out. All right. And I'm going to put it, let's see, I want it down a little bit. I'm going to put my greeting. Let's see where I want it. There we go. Center my greeting. pull it straight. So we've got that, and then again we'll put on a little bit of bling. You can't have a card without bling. I think it just finishes it right off. There we go. So there's your third card. Now, before I put that away, what I'm going to do is it's always nice to, while you've got it out, finish the inside like the first one we did, and do the envelope. Doesn't have to be a lot. But you know what's funny? People get mail, and somebody had said, oh, I think it was my friend Karina. Was it her? Anyway, sorry, my mind's gone blank. But anyway, a friend of mine had said that, I've always stamped the envelopes, but I think it gives it, I don't know, it's just nice. So, but people would just see a handwritten card or see an envelope, a plain envelope, and probably chuck it in the mail. But if you see the stamp on it, then you know it's something good, some happy mail. As long as you go to your mailbox to get that. So we've got all three cards here now. They're exactly the same, but stepped up a little bit. Now, one of the other ones that I did, and I could do, because I pre-cut, there. Okay, now I'm going to close up my ink pads before it gets any worse. Clean up my spot. I had done a couple prior, and I added some pine cones. So I could add a couple of pine cones here. Yeah. And you know what? That's just going to cover up everything. So I think I won't, but I could. You can step it up and add those right there. However you'd like. I mean, it's all up to you, Be creative. So there's our first one. Our second one. I guess we put this on the second one, wouldn't we? And our third card. All using the same thing, just stepping it up a notch each time. So, which one do you like the best? Comment below. Give me a thumbs up if you like it. Comment below. And if you share and like my video, then I will send you a little, I'll send you a card in the mail. And just, I hope to see you again next week. Same time, same place. And again, thanks for joining me. Bye for now.